On last week. Here you'll see in my automatic music machine, and each of these cards represents a track. And here you'll see in my automatic music machine, it's this one. So what we do in the automatic music machine is we cycle through this music. We do sessions on this music, and they kind of go through the machine, and then you end up with the same track again eventually. So we're working on multiple tracks at the same time. And I worked on this last on Friday, or was it Thursday? I can't remember. Anyway, it was last week. And if I just catch you up, and by the way, in the description, there's a link to the last session that I did. So once I've done this one, you can go and check that out if you want. And what happened was, I've got this track here with a section here, and I'll play it to you in a second, which was all fine. And then a section here, which is basically fine. Yeah. And this section in the middle wasn't doing anything, because this is like a little melody thing that just comes in almost randomly, surprisingly there. And then that is kind of resolved or developed in a way there. Kind of not exactly, but a variation I is repeated there, and here nothing happened basically. So essentially, what needed to happen between those two sections, the start and the end, was there needed to be some development, ideally of this melody, okay, which created tension, which kind of made things tense, so that it could be released here, it could kind of land here, because that would make a very satisfying, musically satisfying conclusion to this track. So actually, before I do anything else, what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it as something else. 29th. Okay, yeah, so I worked it on the 24th. Okay. Play it to you, so that you can just bear in mind this section isn't sorted, because basically what I did was I tried two different options to sort it out, and I didn't kind of when I say options, they were like harmonic options. No sound. What's going on? Hello? One? Are you sure there's no sound? Can anyone else hear me? Because I can see sound coming up. Are you sure you've got, it's not you? Bundy. Hi Bundy. Hi Phil. Can you hear me? Anyway, it looks to me like there's sound coming through on my thing. So it would be weird if there wasn't. So yeah, so when you say no sound, I'm not playing, so I hope I don't know what you mean. Hello, man of many farts. So anyway, I'm going to assume that there is sound, because it looks like there is to me. Fingers crossed. And so this is the first section, which is basically working. It's, none of it's sorted. But yeah, this section I just figured out the harmonic stuff. So anyway, I'll talk you through it as we go through it. This is intentionally takes a long time to get going. This is the start of a whole massive story that I'm telling. Over the coming years, hopefully, if I don't lose interest. Rude! Hello, Manuel. Fantastic. So that was the section that's I'm good with that. There's a few things that I need to do, but I don't need to worry about them now. So this was the section in question from last time. Okay, and I just want to before that I want to play the actual bit that we're getting to, so you understand it. Okay, so and this section is basically written as well. It's not going to repeat 3 times. That was just anyway. I'm not worried about that. But essentially, this is where it lands. Okay. Because it'll make more sense what we're trying to achieve compositionally. Right, let's go. Land basically, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play different versions of that theme. At the moment it's just repeated 3 times, okay, and then it basically ends with one last hurrah. Like this. So that's where we end. And just talking to Bundy, the whale sound. I'm not sure what you mean by the whale sound. It'll be a synth. It's some kind of a synth. Probably either Diva or something from Omnisphere, I would think. And then Bassline Crew is making a very good point, or saying something very interesting. If I make a track over 3 minutes, I think it's too long. Perception is mad. You definitely keep the tension and listener hooked for what I would usually perceive as a long time. Yeah, so there's a number of different things. Time is an amazing thing. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn around to the front for this, because I think this is a good opportunity to talk about one of my favourite subjects, which is falling over. No, which is time. So time is a very interesting, and it's an amazing thing, because it really only exists in our perception. So I think it was somebody way more intelligent than me, i.e. Albert Einstein. Although I'm always worried when I think that Albert Einstein says things, because he's one of those people who basically he gets all kinds of things attributed to him. So he was like, oh yeah, no, Albert Einstein said that. It's probably because, you know, people believe Albert Einstein. So, but anyway, I think it was Albert Einstein. As far as I know, I should probably fact check this, but that said, just think about a 10-minute period of time. Supposedly in our heads, 10 minutes is a fixed period of time. Okay, take that same 10 minutes and just do a little thought experiment, and you say, in that 10 minutes, you are saying goodbye to the love of your life for a year. Yeah, so you're saying goodbye to them for a whole year. You're not going to see them for a whole year. Think about how long that 10 minutes would last. Okay, now compare that 10 minutes with your hand pressed down onto a searing hot frying pan. How long would that 10 minutes last? So it's literally eons of time compared to virtually no time if you're saying goodbye to the love of your life for a year. So there you can see that time is it's extremely flexible. And it's flexible in our perception, but it's actually also flexible in the amount that you can do in a certain amount of time as well. It really is only, time is a thing that we perceive. It's not actually a real thing. It's how we, I'm not going to get too far into this. I got really heavily into reading all kinds of books about time a while back. But basically, it only really exists. It's how we understand one thing happening after another. Yeah. So this happens, then this happens, then this happens. So we make this thing in our minds called time. Now that's good news in a lot of different ways, because it means that we can actually play with time. We can play with people's perception of time in our music. It's good for other reasons, but specific to this, in our music. And how we can actually do that is by, there's a number of different things. For instance, one thing that we can do is that we can do something repetitive, but we can change it slightly over a long period of time. So it's almost like you can, it's as if people are kind of being caught in amber, because we only really process the amount of time something's taken after it happens. Because if you think about it, when you're in the moment, you're not actually processing time. You're just thinking about how long this has taken. So you're saying this hasn't felt like it's a long time, although I can see on the screen it is a long time, is you processing after the event that this is a long time. So that's one way we can do it. And if I go back to the computer, right. So you can actually see here, because you were watching the screen presumably, that first section is 4 minutes long. It's long, right? I mean, that's longer than a pop song. Yeah. But as you can see, things are coming in, I mean, they're not, it's fairly regular, but it's sort of not exactly, every 8. Yeah. And what's more, these things are changing, right? because this is defound things. These things are changing, yeah. And essentially this kind of part as well is very, very repetitive, yeah. But there's something about it which has a lot of tension involved, because this is the other way that you can play with time. Because if you create tension, I mean, essentially what music is, what the making of music is, it's a way of, no, not what the making of music is. Music is essentially the playing with tension and release. That is the most basic form, is really how you make great music. You play with, pause that. You play with tension and release. You create a tension and then you release it. Yeah, if you want a kind of one sentence description of music, that's what it is. Okay, and obviously it's more than that, but it's a good way of thinking about it. And what is tension? I mean, what actually is tension? It's the something happening that people are waiting for. It's the something not happening that people are waiting for. Release is when it happens. Okay, so you can actually extend people's perception of time by just turning up the tension, yeah, gradually, and they're still waiting for it, and they're still waiting for it, and there's a kind of sort of delicious, what's going to happen sort of feeling, which again it gives you more time. And I think, you know, one of the things about the music I'm making now is it's not intended for a dance floor. I mean, even the stuff that is dance floor, or you know, sounds like it's on a dance floor, it's not really for a dance floor. It's more for listening, and it's telling a story. So I'm going to take the amount of time to tell that story I'm going to take, and if people get lost along the way, so be it. That is what I'm doing, and that's it. So and there are lots of different ways that you can kind of, I mean, it's not all about just extending things. It's about making the piece of music do what it needs to do when it needs to do it. Yeah. So I'm not just talking about, really long tracks are great. I've been through periods of my life where I've liked really short tracks too. I mean, and I'm sure I will make really short tracks. I think the last track on my album, Coda, that was about 3 minutes long. But this piece of music needs the amount of time it's taking. And, you know, the way that I actually arranged this out was I really kind of did it more live. I just closed my eyes, I didn't look at the screen, and I was like, something needs to come in now. That was kind of thing. And I even started kind of playing some stuff and also playing this in live. So, yeah. I mean, I think if you're writing kind of jump up for the dance floor music, it's understandable that you kind of get nervous about losing people, particularly when you're a DJ. Because I did too. But, you know, this is one of the benefits of what I'm doing now. It's like I don't have to do anything for anyone other than the music. So at the moment, I'm telling a story through the music, and I'm serving what the music needs to do. So, yep, that's it. So yeah, so have a think about how you can play around with people's perception of time. Yeah, and don't let your internal worry, you know, kind of, oh no, I'm going to lose people, kind of mess you up too much. Okay, right, now on to the problem section. And this is option 2. I did another option that didn't work, but I made another option. And bear in mind, so this is what I put in last time. It's just a bunch of chords, basically. And it's not right, but I think I've got roughly the kind of chord progression that I'm going to do. And then I need to kind of work out what I'm going to do with it. But anyway, let me just play it to you. So remember, we got to here. Hello, Shy. Hello, David. one of my favourite albums, Oxygen.